This upcoming generation is going to pull out these crusty iPads with boogers all over them and consume this content. Their posture is gonna be effed up, my boy. Like, their posture is gonna be, their back is gonna be at a 90-degree angle consuming this content. And on top of that, their eyes are going to get strained from looking at their screen for so long. And on top of that, they're probably gonna have a snack on the side, right? So they'll pull out a bag of Lay's, shout out to Ups, and consume these chips, because not only are they consuming instant gratificational content, but they're also consuming instant gratificational food. And with this, they're going to achieve the EDP 447 build, because they don't work out. The only thing they're working out is their thumbs, is their fingers, because they don't go to the gym, they don't work out their arms, they don't go outside, they don't work out their legs, because who goes outside anymore, right? Like, why would you go outside and actually talk and interact with your friends when you could literally just hop on a Discord call? Now, you could say a dopamine detox would overall fix this problem, but my boy, the problem lies much bigger than the screen. Like, sure, these kids, the upcoming generation, can put down these crusty iPads and iDroids, but the problem, their habits are going to continue. It's going to carry on for the rest of their lives, because they think this is normal. They think that what they're doing is normal, but you see, this is going to have a long-term effect on their lives. They're going to have problems literally doing simple things like playing board games, because they're going to be like, oh, why would I play a board game with my family when I could literally scroll on TikTok for 7 hours a day? And even doing certain activities like playing video games, an already self-stimulating activity, is not going to be enough. Now you got to throw in some Subway Surfers or some Temple Run gameplay on the corner of your screen while playing GTA 6, because, oh, GTA 6, that's not enough dopamine, that's not enough instant gratification, this is not going to hold my attention span. I need more content. I need more content on my screen so that I can be more focused. Or say you wanted to go in the kitchen to make yourself some dinner. My boy, I didn't even realize how to make rice up until like 2 years ago, because I was so used to eating outside food. I was so used to eating McDonald's. I was so used to eating ice cream and all these like pizza bites that I didn't even know how to make my own food. Like, even my siblings don't even know how to make their own food. Like, the only thing they'll know how to make is maybe like some ramen noodles. But like, why would you actually take the time to make yourself some food when you could literally order out, get some Uber Eats or DoorDash? I mean, I know ordering out costs more, and I now don't know how to make myself a meal, but at the end of the day, I'm still saving my time. My boy, you goofy, you are literally wasting plenty of time on your screen, on your phone, on your crusty iDroid. Like, I guarantee you, if you pull out your settings on your phone and see the amount of screen time you have, you probably have at least -3 hours. Sometimes when I'm watching a YouTube video, I'll often put it on 2 times speed because of how dopamine deprived I was. Because previously, oh, I was scrolling on Instagram, oh, I was scrolling on TikTok, I now depleted my dopamine. So now when I actually try to watch a long form video, oh, now I can't concentrate. I don't even know what this dude is saying. Oh, shit. Like, this dude sounds like he's speaking like Minecraft enchantment table. So now let me just put it on 2 times speed, so that way I can get his message faster. But in reality, I'm literally being deprived of my dopamine. Now, I myself, I've experienced all these goofy, stinky habits firsthand, but luckily I found out about self-improvement around 2 years ago, and ever since then I started to study myself. I was like, yo, why am I actually doing these stinky habits? Why am I scrolling on TikTok for 7 hours a day? Why am I eating Hershey Kisses and a bowl of ice cream every day? And slowly but surely, I started to actually improve myself. And along that journey, I found my walk with God, with Christ. But if I myself was merely affected by the things society has normalized, what about Gen Alpha? You see, a lot of people in my generation are already consumed by this type of lifestyle, by the things society has pushed out and normalized. But what about Gen Alpha? You see, with each generation that continues, each generation is trying to make things easier and easier. With each generation, especially with Generation Alpha, is living an age of comfort. Like, my boy, why would you go out? Why would you take the time to go to your friend's house and hang out when you could go on Discord? Why go to the movie theaters when you could literally screen share a movie together at home? Why would you actually have a girlfriend when you could literally have an AI one? Now, there's a juicy, wet, watery quote I'd like to share with you guys, and that is that hard times create strong men, and strong men create good times, and good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. Basically meaning that right now we are literally living the age where weak men are being created, because we indulged in discomfort in the good times. So now we get the weak men. But what happens when we get the weak men? They are going to create hard times. Now, one of the sins the Bible talks about is pride. A lot of people nowadays, they have pride in themselves. I mean, we got a whole month for it. But in the Bible, it literally says Proverbs 11:2, when pride comes, then comes shame, but with humbleness is wisdom. Basically meaning that when you are humble before God, this is where you're going to receive the most wisdom. But a lot of people, they think that they're the best in their eyes. They think that they are above God, but this is actually their ego blinding them. Now, another sin a lot of people struggle with is laziness, slothfulness. Now, in the Bible, it literally says that you reap what you sow, but if you are constantly trying to sow off the flesh, you're going to reap destruction, because you are literally trying to please yourself. You're trying to get that instant gratification, that instant dopamine. But my boy, a lot of the things that feel good at the moment usually have consequences later on. My boy, stop sowing off the flesh and start sowing on the spirit, because this is the way, the truth, and the life. And the more you go off the spirit, the more progress you're going to make, the more happiness, the more abundance, the more blessings in your life you're going to receive. Now, this is a big one. Pause. And I've talked about this a lot on my channel. And the next sin is falling into temptation. You see, a lot of people nowadays, they are addicted to watching the hub. They are addicted to watching this adult content, because they get that pleasure. They get those few seconds of pleasure from busting their milk juice all over the place. But in reality, you are committing multiple sins by doing this, because not only are you going against the spirit, but you're indulging in the flesh, and you're also causing your eyes and your hands to sin, because you're doing this activity, this action. And in the Bible, it literally says that if your right eye causes you to sin, you shall gouge it out, and if your right hand causes you to sin, you shall cut it off, because it is better to go to heaven with one of these than to hell with two. Say your diet is completely dog doo-doo, like you're literally eating a bucket of GMO Twinkies every single day. Well, in the Bible, it literally says that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. So my boy, if your body is all soft and squishy, how do you expect to actually defend your spirit from the enemy? Because right now, when you're consuming these foods, these instant gratificational foods, like sure, it's salty, it's sweet, it's very good and very fulfilling and very like tasty at the moment, but my boy, your body is going to suffer the consequences. Now, the average screen time for someone in America is approximately 7 hours a day. What the fuck? Imagine that, being AFK for 7 hours a day. My boy, if you took this 7 hours and put it towards your goals each and every single day, my boy, you could literally achieve anything. Like if I told myself I wanted to be the best doo-doo taker in the world, and I spent 7 hours a day doing that, I would literally be a doo-doo taker master. Now you would think with all this technology, with this revolutionary state in our lives, that things would be easier, that we would solve like world hunger or something. But my boy, just when it seems that technology is evolving, we are actually devolving, because with the upcoming generation, they're not becoming something new. They are actually becoming a byproduct of the world. And with this upcoming generation, they are lacking purpose, because they don't have a purpose to do many things, because it's so easy to do. Whether it's the foods they get or eat, or the content they consume, everything is just so easy and instant gratificational. And in the Bible, it literally says, it literally teaches you to go against the things of this world, to not actually follow the things of this world, but the things above. And this is where you're going to get your purpose. This is where you get your purpose, by following God. And the reason is because during this time, you know what I'm saying, like we were already like almost a year into Corona. So I was obviously on that TikTok wave. Like I'm pretty sure I had 8 hours of screen time every single day, because TikTok back then, even now it's still popping, but back then it was way up there. Like this was literally like popularized. It was literally getting millions of downloads every single day, and I was consuming this content all the time. But when it came to actually reading the word, looking at a piece of paper with words on it, I couldn't focus. And the reason for this is because my attention span was literally the size of a goldfish. Now I'm not talking about like that little cheese cracker goldfish. I'm talking about an actual goldfish. Like, you know, like when you're at the store and you're tapping on the glass and the fish looks at you for like negative 3.5 seconds. Yeah, that's the attention span I was having, because I was so used to consuming content, Subway Surfers on the top and everything, with all this text and animation, that when it actually came time to reading the word, I couldn't focus. And with this upcoming generation not having a figure, now I'm not talking about just like acknowledging God and Jesus. I'm also talking about their actual like parent figure, because they're being replaced by these crusty iDroids, these crusty iPads. And you see, there is a lack of purpose. There is no direction they're able to take because no one is teaching them. Actually, there is a direction they're taking, and that is towards the kingdom of darkness. And the more and more people that give into these sins, slothfulness, temptation, pride, the wider the path towards the kingdom of destruction gets. But you see, the path towards the kingdom of righteousness is narrow, because a lot of people think that they can't be forgiven of their sins. But my boy, you can be forgiven for your sins. It's through him. It's through the way, the truth, and the life, and that is Jesus. And that is by following him, not just by believing him, because a lot of people can say they believe in him, but they still will go back to fornicating. A lot of people say they could go to church. A lot of people can go to church. Everyone can go to church, but they won't give up the love of their world and pleasure for Jesus. Now, you don't gotta agree with me. You don't have to be a follower of Jesus, but we can all agree, after going on the hub, after releasing our milk to this adult content, we feel bad. We feel guilty. We feel like we almost committed a crime. And that's because you did, my boy. You committed a crime, which is this sin. And what happens to people that commit a crime? What happens to someone that murders someone? Where do you think they go? They go to jail. They go to prison, right? So obviously, if you committed this sin, where do you think you will go, my boy? Now, there's obviously a law in the universe. I mean, the absence of light is darkness. And Jesus does not want you to be consumed by this darkness. Rather, he wants you to be a spirit of light, a producer of good fruit. But how can you produce this good fruit if you're constantly planting your seeds in the enemy's soil? Because if you're planting your seeds in the enemy's soil, you're going to grow out as a bad tree, and a bad tree cannot produce good fruit. So my boy, actually follow his ways, follow Jesus, so that you could be a good tree that produces good fruit. You can't be a bad tree that produces good fruit. So start following Jesus. That way you could plant your seeds in his soil, and through him you will produce good fruit. And with all of these stinky problems happening in our generation and the future generation, we are seeing more anxiety, depression, loneliness, sadness, fear. And in the Bible, it literally says, Isaiah 41:10, "Fear not, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will uphold you with my righteous hand." Basically meaning that you have nothing to be afraid of. You cannot be afraid of the enemy once you have Jesus and God by your side. You are never alone. Like, anytime you have this loneliness, like, dang, like, I don't have a partner, I don't have a girlfriend, boyfriend, I'm just gonna be alone for the rest of my life. My boy, you were never alone to begin with. I don't know about you, but how could you be depressed knowing that the creator of the universe, a multi-dimensional being that is not affected by time, is at your service, my boy? Because you are blessed and highly favored. But the enemy, he does not want you to think that. He wants you to continue indulging in his plans. He wants you to continue this lifestyle of instant gratification, of sin. But this is just an infinite genjutsu that he's trying to trap you in. And you see, you are loved. You are not alone. You have the creator of the universe. You have Jesus by your side. So my boy, it's up to you to make the choice, either to rebuke the kingdom of darkness or embrace the kingdom of righteousness. Stay blessed, stay wealthy, and remember to keep surpassing your limits. And I'll see you guys in the next one.